Hey Liz.
Hi, Mr. Robot. Now, this one is a total surprise, gang. And just want to give a big shout out to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in this evening. And Mr. Robot always has some mystery lined up for me. So I can't wait to see what it is.
Perfect. Uh,
What have you got for me tonight?
let's see here. I just want to get a good picture of him. Here's a good picture. So,
Oh,
have you ever heard of Rob Gothier?
no. No, I haven't.
Cool. Well, he's like, I don't know. If you like channeling and stuff, then you've probably came across him if you're on YouTube and looking around at people. He is somewhat of a famous channeler, is what I'm getting at.
Oh,
And he has some pretty interesting channels, and I just wanted to test him real quick and then test some of the people he channels real quick too.
okay.
So if you could probe him, Rob Gothier, and ask him if he is truly doing trance channeling, or if he's making it up.
Okay. Does he do trance mediumship? Is that what his specialty is?
He definitely, yeah, he goes in a deep state of trance for sure.
Yeah, trans mediumship. Okay. Um, that's great. Just for the record, friends, those of you that are listening, I do not do trance mediumship. I just don't. I tried it once before and it felt really awful to me. I did not like it.
I would
I
love to
don't
do a
like,
session with you. I think it'd be really fun.
oh my God. You can feel them stepping into your body because you allow the spirit to step in. And my problem is, well, what if they don't want to leave? you know?
Oh, you're
So
too
it just made
powerful.
me feel really, really, yeah, you can get something that's extremely powerful that then wants to stay and you can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
So that kind of frightens me. But also, you can feel them stepping into your body and it's a very weird sensation. I personally don't like it, but I do have a couple of psychic medium friends that love, and that's what they do, trance mediumship.
Mhm.
Okay, so for Rob here, yes, I have a connection with him. Are you actually doing trance mediumship? He's like, no, I'm channeling. Now, this is his personal thoughts, feelings of and opinions of today's date, which is July 17th, 2022. And so he doesn't believe it's like really trance. I feel like he's just saying I'm channeling.
Yeah.
What would you like to know?
Does he feel like the entities that he's channeling are telling the truth?
Do you feel like the entities that you are channeling are telling the truth? Yes.
Cool. Okay. So now let's get to someone that he's channeling. So this is just a picture that he uses, that represents this name. He channels this name, this entity that goes by the name Eredif.
Eredif.
Can you
Okay.
probe the universe for this entity named Eredif? He supposedly is a Palladian.
Okay. It's a very aggressive entity.
Really?
Yeah.
It says Eredif has worked extensively with Earth and humans throughout history to share enlightenment and cosmic knowledge. Can you ask him if that statement's true?
Is that true where you're sharing? Yeah, they're sharing information. That's true. Very powerful entity. Okay. It can really take power. So you kind of have to be careful of it. Very aggressive.
Does it have positive intentions for humans?
Do you have positive intentions for humans? It says, what's the definition of positive?
Like to help us?
To help us? If that's what you want to believe,
Hmm. Weird.
it is. It's a very, I don't know how to describe it.
So he has described very well what it's like to be in a higher dimension, pretty much. Can you ask him if entities on Earth that are in a higher dimension than what we can see, if they can see us,
Can you
or if
see?
they're in their own dimension stuck?
entities in her dimension on Earth, can they see us? No.
Yeah,
That's a really different question. So is it the fact that higher dimensional entities or beings on Earth operate on a different level and they're invisible to us and we're invisible to them? It seems that way. I've never been asked that before. That's interesting.
yeah. So what's interesting is, so Rob does all these channels, and this woman, I don't know, I guess it was a live chat or something, or maybe a question she posted on his Patreon, and she said that she was driving around town and she saw a being that had black eyes, and she noticed this being was like following her around town and like driving behind her, and she asked Eredif what it was, and he said it was like a 3.5 level, or just barely half a level of dimension higher than us, that most people don't see it. So that's kind of where I was leading to. Can you ask him?
Wow.
Can you ask him if there's beings that are just slightly above our dimensional range of sight that are amongst us right now?
Slightly above our range all the time. Listen, let me go into this. Spirit are of a higher dimension, right?
Right.
They're on the earth plane all the time. I can see them. Thank you, Mom. But most people can't see them. I say thank you, Mom, because that's where I get my gift from. Most people can't see them. So yes, that is true. There are higher dimensional beings here on the planet that are naked to most eyes. They're invisible.
And does Eredif say that these beings are they how would you call it, like non-interfering, where they don't care about our positive or negative being? Like are they affecting us in any way?
Are they affecting us in any way? They're not supposed to. No.
And would these beings sometimes be miscategorized as ghosts?
Would these beings sometimes be miscategorized as ghosts? Very well could be, yes.
And can you ask him if he is in a physical carnation somewhere?
Are you in a physical carnation somewhere? Yes, but not. Are you on the earth plane? Are you on the earth plane? No, not on the earth plane.
But is he on a different planet?
Are you on a different? Yes, multiple planets.
Interesting. Oh, and was he ever a Palladian on Earth in any of his carnations?
Were you ever a Palladian on Earth in any of your carnations? Yes, many times.
And is his current home called Deneb?
Is your current home called Deneb? That's one of the homes, yes.
Interesting. Can you ask him if what he is currently, if that's how people end up once they ascend different levels of dimensions?
Is that how people end up when they ascend to different levels of dimensions? They have to drop the body in order to ascend.
Mm-hmm. But do we end up like Eredif?
Do we end up like Eredif? We can do. Most of the time we just go into spirit, but then we can reincarnate into a lifetime that's not on the earth plane. But that's reserved for only special occasions.
And can you have him shed some insight if we have a dream that we're in a different planet? Is that taking part in any type of reality, or is that fully fictional?
Do we have a dream on another planet? Is that where we transport to a different reality, or is that fictional? It's reality. Have you had a dream like that?
Yeah, well, I have really wild dreams. I think it's because I do like Akashic records type stuff, but like recently, I was like way in the future, and I was this robot that was kind of like the Terminator, where you're like tasked to do things, and I was like tasked to take out of commission this other robot, and it's really interesting. I think we fell in love and ran away from the government. It's pretty interesting.
Wow.
But lots of dreams where I'm like in either way future, or I've had a lot of dreams where I'm like on a moon. I don't want to say the moon, but a moon, like fighting an alien race with like human like people. So stuff like that.
You got to stop smoking before you go to bed.
Well, that's how you get there.
I'm teasing. The thing is, okay, so when I've delved into the Akashic records, excuse me, I find that in the Akashic records, to me, my personal opinion, which may or may not count for anything, I find the Akashic records actually full of basic information. So when you pull the book, you're just being shown pictures, and there's not a lot of real life story behind it. You have to sort of figure out what those pictures are. You close the book, you put your book back. Okay. That's what I find with the Akashic records. What does this mean when Mr. Robot has these dreams? I feel like you're doing astral travel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now you have to be careful with that. Let me put a caution in, because you're traveling in your dreams. You're traveling to different places and you're fighting aliens, or you're communicating with aliens. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I believe aliens contact us, and I know this, but they use telepathy. So a lot of times when people are being abducted, it's usually in their sleep, or it's at night, or they don't remember what's happened. And I think what happens is they take the consciousness and they run away with it for a little while, and then eventually the consciousness will find its way back to the body. I find that it's very rare that aliens physically abduct a body, maybe in certain circumstances, but compared to how many times they've abducted the consciousness, that certainly outnumbers the physical body. I hope that you don't get into a war with the aliens while your consciousness is on a different planet or a different moon, and that they don't restore, or for some reason you are not able to pull your consciousness back into your body. So they're very powerful beings.
So something that's cool about Eredif is when you ask him questions through Rob, these entities can see your whole spectrum of all your, all the levels of your consciousness, and kind of get a full read of you. Can you ask him if I am interacting with aliens when I'm sleeping? Liz.
And you go to many different places.
Oh, hey Liz,
can you hear me?
Can you start that over? Yeah, I just started hearing you now.
Sorry about that. There's a bad storm coming through. So absolutely was the answer. And I feel like you go to many different places in one night.
Yeah, because as I tell people, I'm like, these dreams couldn't come from my mind. Like they're better than blockbuster movies. So it's a whole different level of reality. But
it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what happens to me?
Extra.
It's weird. I don't fight aliens in space, thank God, because I don't think I can. First of all, I don't think I would win. But second of all, like I have these places that I go to.
Yeah.
So I have this flat, right, in my dream in East London. Now, those of you that know me personally, I never went to East London because East London is dodgy, right? Well, especially where you go past the Canary Wharf part. And my flat apparently is in East London. But I somehow end up in this place. It's really dodgy area. and I go into the flat, and I put the key in the door, and sometimes the flat's a mess, sometimes it's clean, sometimes my mom is in the flat, right?
Yeah.
And she's sitting there waiting for me. Or sometimes I'll see other, persons or souls that I know so well,
Hmm.
and chat, and it's so sweet stopping by. And then I wake up out of the dream and I'm like, who the hell was that?
Right.
But I know that I knew them, and we were really close friends, or maybe even relatives, but I feel more friends in other lifetimes. And I keep doing that. I keep going to this same place over and over and over again. So, for instance, last night I go there and I'm calling people, right? Because nobody's there. I'm looking for people. So I'm calling it. It's like, where are you? Well, I'm over here and I'm over there. It was weird. But I feel like that must be a place that has been designated for me to travel with my consciousness
Yeah.
and communicate with people or souls on that level. And so for anybody that's having dreams such as like what Mr. Robot is having, or what I have, the worst part is when I go in, the flat's a mess, and I'm cleaning it all night long.
Hmm.
And then I wake up exhausted.
Yeah.
I hate those dreams.
I know.
Just let me sleep. Why was I cleaning dirty dishes and taking out the trash, making beds and doing laundry all night long? I do that during the day. I don't need to do that in my sleep. It's so weird.
That's what I tell my girlfriend. I'm like, I'm exhausted from my war with the aliens all night. Like, like I didn't even rest.
Yeah, I need to get some real sleep. But it's strange how that works. And then a lot of times people will have visitations. Okay. So their loved ones can only come in during their sleep, and those
Yeah.
dreams are very vivid. And that's because the reason this happens is because the brain waves are so lowered at that point that it's safe for the spirit to come in and pass along these messages and communicate. Now that is another thing that happens very frequently. And so those are not just dreams. When your loved ones in spirit, your parents,
Right.
whoever, come in and they're talking to you, and you'll never forget those dreams, right? Because they're so powerful. And usually the messages are really powerful as well. Now that is called a visitation.
So like 2 nights ago, I had a dream that I had this special cell phone that if you thought of a deceased loved one, the phone would ring and it would be them, and they would be able to communicate with you for a while. And my grandma's like best friend like came through, so it was really interesting. And I was just wondering if spirits, like for instance, if that was actually her name is Martha. Can you ask if Martha actually was communicating with me in my dream?
Yes, that is correct. And so again, that cell phone was sort of a safe modality
Yeah.
that your soul had set up in order for you to communicate. Because maybe if you saw the spirit directly and that spirit was communicating with you face to face, it may have made you feel uncomfortable and wake up. Right.
Right.
So they do use that, those different modalities. You're exactly right.
Cool. Okay.
Do you have any more questions about
Eredif.
this person or Eredif?
No, let's drop Eredif and just do. There's one more person that Rob channels. His name is Treb.
Okay.
Do you still have Eredif, or did you drop him?
I dropped.
Okay. And do you have a connection to Treb?
Yes, I do. And it looks like a lizard of sorts.
Yeah, definitely.
But very friendly, not aggressive like the other energy.
Cool. Very interesting. Can you ask him if he is on the Capella star system?
Are you on the Capella star system? If that's what you want to believe, I'll take it.
Oh, well, he's fifth density, so I'm sure. Can you ask him if he's located anywhere in the universe, or if he's just like how is space represented in the non-physical? Like, does he occupy a certain area of the universe?
Oh, that's a good question. How do you occupy space when you're in non-physical form? Do you have a certain area of the universe that you call home? No, they constantly roam. That's an excellent, excellent question. Well done.
Awesome. Does he roam other life forms throughout the universe, or is he interested in Earth in particular?
He's interested in Earth in particular.
Can you ask him if there's any reptilian humans on Earth at the moment?
Are there any reptilian humans on Earth at the moment? No, but there's a lot of people that believe that they are.
Yeah. And can you ask him where his reptilian ancestry came from? Like, was lizards grew up the same way that people kind of came, evolved?
Did lizards grow up the same way that people evolved? No, we're energy beings.
Ask him why he somewhat looks reptilian.
He does. He's like walking. I mean, he looks like a reptile to me. Why do you look somewhat reptilian? Because that's the image he likes to portray of himself.
Okay. And how long has he
He thinks it looks
existed?
cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
How long have you existed? Since time begun.
Ask him what his first thought was when he popped into existence.
What was your first? That's a good question. What was your first thought when you popped into existence? I'm alive.
And did he see all the other souls? Was he a soul at that point?
Were you a soul? I'm always a soul.
And at that point, was he able to see all the other souls that came about?
Were you able to see all the other souls that came about? No.
Ask him if it was a lonely existence at first.
Was it a lonely existence at first? Very lonely.
I'm sure. Ask him if it was lonely until physical reality became, in existence.
Was it lonely until physical reality came into existence? Yes. And that is part of the reason he likes Earth so much, because of the physical reality we have here.
Ask him if he basically piggybacks into people's minds so he can like view through people, or if he just walks around the planet as like a higher dimensional being.
Do you go into behind people's eyes? No, he doesn't do that. He just walked up. He's just on the planet roaming around. Wait, he likes to talk. He likes the communication. He likes the interaction. And at some point in intervals as we're talking, he likes to jump in my face and and then he jumps back again. So I don't know why he's doing that.
Does he try to scare you?
Are you trying to scare me? He's laughing. Are you trying to scare me? No, he just thinks it's funny. I've had spirits do that a lot. When I'm not channeling loved ones, or channeling for a purpose, as in like Gan or Albert Einstein, all of that. When I'm channeling entities will jump up in your face and they do that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just to show their power or what, but they do. And it's not, I don't know. I mean, I don't like it, but I'm not, it's not a comfortable feeling. It makes me not want to channel them. So they're not doing themselves any favors if that's what they want to do, is they want to talk to me.
Right.
So he said he wasn't going to do that anymore now. But that's happened. I've been in the grocery store and looking at, when you're in the line and you're looking at, National Geographic or whatever, back in the day when they had magazines there. Now I don't think they really do. But I've had like spirits like jump off the cover of a magazine, like an entity going, ah! I don't know why they do that.
Ask him if he's surprised that you can see him.
Are you surprised that I can see you? Very surprised. He likes that. He may be a problem to get him out of my house.
Well, at least he's nice, right?
He is nice. Overall, he's nice. He's not aggressive like that other entity.
Yeah, can you actually ask Treb, because he knows Robert, ask him what he thinks about Eredif, who is channeled through Robert. Does he like Eredif?
Do you like Eredif? No,
Why not?
they're incompatible
Hmm.
energetically.
Very interesting. And what does Treb think of Archangel Metatron?
What do you think about Archangel Metatron? It's useful.
Does he think Metatron is an actual soul or thinking thing?
Is Metatron an actual soul? It's a collective.
Okay.
But I do feel it's very positive.
Awesome. And what would Treb say is the most beneficial piece of advice he could give people right now?
What is the most beneficial advice that you could give to people right now? Look after yourselves, be well, and be healthy.
Does he think that we should spend any time practicing religion?
Do you think that we should spend any time practicing religion? No, it's a waste of time.
And what does he feel? What is his opinion on human ascension?
What is your opinion on human ascension? It's very difficult to achieve. It's almost impossible. You're put down here to face these tasks, which are a nightmare to move forward. So where we should be ascending, at great lengths, going from not one dimension to another, but certainly one level of ascension to another. We're not doing that. It's really difficult.
And does he think that we should focus harder on trying to ascend, humans?
Do you think that we should focus harder on trying to ascend? Yes, but the forces hold you down. So to actually break free of those forces and to learn life lessons in order to ascend, whether it's your consciousness or your soul, it's very, very difficult.
And would he call that like a soul contract or a karma?
Would you call that soul contracts? Yes, it's by design.
And what is Treb's opinion on source energy, like God?
On source energy. He doesn't come from there.
But
you must know a lot about this, Treb. I don't know anything.
no, I actually don't know anything, but it's just funny. Well, he's his own thing, but does he feel like there's an oppressive nature of source energy that makes people reincarnate to remember how we were talking last time, to feed, to feed the source energy?
Yeah, it's very oppressive.
And when you're in non-physical, is there any true sense of freedom?
When you're non-physical, is there any true sense of freedom? No. That's a good question.
Ask him what binds us to not being free.
What binds us to not being free? You owe source. But it's his personal thought, opinion, okay?
Yeah.
That being connected to source is oppressive because we are just feeding source. He's not connected to Source, so therefore he thinks see, he just jumped in my face again. I'm like, stop doing that. Um, I don't know why he keeps doing that to me. But by what was I saying? But he's not attached to Source, so he can do whatever he wants to do. It's like he has no rules. And he just jumped in my face again. I'm like, you need to stop doing that seriously, or the show's over. I'm sorry, what was the next question?
Ask him why he's trying to mess with you.
Why are you trying to mess with me? He's like, because I like you.
He sounds
And I'm
really
like,
dopey.
really? Then you need. Yeah, I'm like, well, if you really like me, you won't do that, because I'm not going to talk to you if you keep doing that. He's like, you won't ever talk to me again anyway.
Well, as a last experiment, can you ask him if he can change his form in front of you and maybe look like something else, just as an experiment?
Before you finish your sentence, he'd already changed himself into like Prince Charming.
Huh. How interesting.
He did. He changed his form, but he's gone back to lizard now. Weird. I don't know about this one, Mr. Robot, but yeah. Oh, see, stop. I'm going to let him go because he's just jumping in my face. Ah! I can't stand it. Okay, let me cut him loose. I'm sorry, mate. Thank you. Okay, I've cut him loose. I'm sorry about that. It was annoying me.
Yeah, that's so bizarre.
He thinks it's funny.
Really, really weird.
Now he's hanging around here. I'm gonna have to try and get him out.
I don't blame you.
What else would you like to know? Anything else?
Yeah, let's pull Archangel Metatron. So this has actually been channeled by Rob as kind of like an entity. Let's see if you can pull it as an entity.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Can you ask Metatron if people were to ask Metatron for help, would he help them?
If people were to ask you for help, would you help them? That's its job.
So if you were to go pick up a Metatron book, you would get something along the lines that if you were to ask him to like upgrade your, I forgot what they call it. It's ask him if he's able to upgrade your like your aura or your, I don't know what it's called. It's like it's like along your spine, but it's ask him if he can upgrade you at all, anyone, if you ask for it.
Upgrade at all. Only your consciousness.
Okay. So he can help you be more in tune with source energy?
Can you help me more in tune? No, but to understand it.
And let's see if Metatron can help us understand source. Why are we bound to source energy?
Why are we bound to source energy? That's what we were built for. That's what we're made for.
So do we have any independence from source?
No.
Makes sense. But and let's figure out who Metatron is a little bit first. Is Metatron a group of people who have lived before?
No.
Or is Metatron a conscious entity made by source?
Yes.
And what is Metatron's perspective on source? Does Metatron like source?
What is your perspective? Source, you like source? No. It's also attached to source. And it would like to be free. But it does its job.
Yeah, so Metatron is very, very computer-like. So I feel like he's bouncing around, just in this math world, wishing he could do something more interesting. But
Yes, that's true.
can you ask him if Metatron's cube can actually help us tune in?
What am I asking? Can he help us tune in?
If Metatron's cube, there's this, if you look at the phone or whatever you're looking at, this picture right here, this shape, this geometrical shape right here is called Metatron's cube. And
Okay.
the channeled information is basically that if you were to truly understand what this cube represents, that you would instantly be enlightened, you know, via help with Metatron. Does this design in particular help anyone?
If you can solve the mathematical equation, yes.
But does meditating with this shape help someone reach like a deeper level of consciousness by thinking about it?
Yes.
Interesting. And why does it help people get into deeper states?
Because it's so powerful mathematically, it causes your brain to let go. Your conscious mind.
And ask Metatron if we should imagine the cube around us on the outside of us.
No.
Or maybe inside of the third eye.
For me, no. For other people, yes.
Okay. And how can people talk to Metatron and get a response back?
You have to pray to Metatron. Does that make sense?
I mean, it does, because of the word archangel right here. So I don't know if, ask him if he has any ties to religion.
Do you have any ties to religion? We represent all religions.
Okay. And lastly, what does he think about reincarnation?
What do you think about reincarnation? It's impossible. You're just going again and again and again and again and again, and you're submitting information back to source all the time. Is that
So
why we have God within us? Yes, because by having God within us, we can then freely communicate to God and with God. Almost like the God particle is a microchip, right?
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. No, I mean, we're all just sensors on a, you know, we're all just sensors for this massive universal entity. Can you ask him if there's any point to being alive?
Life is beautiful.
But
And gratitude.
Is there any like hierarchy of the non-physical in which we should try to reach higher? Or
Yes, there's a big hierarchy.
interesting. And is Earth considered a prison planet from his perspective?
Is Earth considered a prison planet from your perspective? Yes.
Did all the people on Earth fail at being a higher dimensional being, basically?
Did all the people on Earth fail at being higher dimensional? No, they haven't been given the opportunity. So we haven't passed the test and all the levels to be a higher dimensional being.
You ask him what tests we should try to overcome as soon as possible as humans.
What test should we try to overcome as soon as possible as humans? Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is an expansion of consciousness.
I believe
that's how you evolve. That's how you enlighten yourself. Everything revolves around gratitude. That comes up a lot. That comes up a lot in probes.
Yeah, so Abraham Hicks, who me and you probed recently, that's kind of like, if you were to boil it all down, it's pretty much the whole life lesson of truly learning how to be, show gratitude with the universe, like in mind that the universe is listening to you, and it kind of spins this. Abraham calls it the vortex, where you are more and more like getting momentum of gratitude, which brings more things to you that you would be grateful for. So that's the law of attraction in essence.
Aha. Now, are you familiar with Edgar Casey's work?
Nope.
No. Okay, because I know a lot of people want to do an Edgar Casey probe, but
Cool.
I need to get, I don't need to get familiar, but if you want to look at Edgar Casey, or if people want to drop questions or comments down for our next probe, they most certainly can.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much all I got for this video. You could title it the ET Whisperer if you want. That's pretty much all about Rob right here.
Okay, great. Well, I think the audience will enjoy this. I mean, your probes are certainly interesting and very, very different. So thank you. I appreciate all these questions. I'm sure everybody does as well. And you know
Awesome.
what's so great about Mr. Robot is he can think on his feet, right? And you have to be able to do that. When you're doing these probes, you'll get answers that you're not expecting, and you've got to be able to work your way around it and make new questions. And that's not so easy to do. It's actually very difficult. You have to have a vast knowledge of the subject matter to hand in order to probe around the answer you weren't expecting. So thank
Right.
you so much. Just anybody, if you want to know where you can find me, I'm at Patreon/remote viewing and beyond. My name is Liz Cross. You can find me at Psychic Liz Cross on the YouTube. Obviously, that's where you found me now. And you can also join our Patreon, be part of our community. We have Discord access, and it's just lots of fun there. We're all nice people. We all enjoy one another. We all interact with one another, and we make a lot of suggestions of what to probe. So, be part of our community if you can be. Thank you so much, everybody.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to say, Mr. Robot?
Yeah, just somewhat about these videos like this in particular with Rob and some of the people we probed. I kind of put them out there as conversation starters. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, look into these people and help me come up with better questions. If you can leave comments, in regards to who we probe in the non-physical realm. I think that's a real fun thing to do with Liz. So
it is fun. It is fun, but it wasn't fun when that entity was jumping up in my face. In fact, when I told him to leave, he got very agitated with me. And I said, look, if you don't obey my laws, like if you don't obey my commands, which says you have to leave now, then the likelihood of me asking you to come back and talk to us again will be slim to none. Right.
mm-hmm.
So he said bye and he left. But that's the problem. And you have to be forceful, and you have to be grounded, and you have to lay down the law and say, I will not stand for this, and I will protect myself and my space.
Awesome.
So thanks, everybody. Thank you so much.